Every person has been given gifts and talents for you to be able to live out your purpose, and then for you to be able to impact other people and create a profit from. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Practice the Podcast, where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindset, habits, and skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Dr.Rees, and it's time to get better, y'all. Let's grow.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices aren't more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yo, I am so excited to be back in this thing with y'all. Like, it's been way too long for so many different reasons, intentional reasons. I decided to take the summer off to really spend some time with self, spend some time with my family, travel, turn up. I successfully defended my dissertation, hits the Coach Rees to Dr.Rees. We ended up getting a new puppy. So many amazing things happened. And I wanted to make sure that when I was able to get back into podcasting in this form of content delivery and coaching, that I was able to really do it and do it in a way that allows me to be sustainable and really impactful in your life. So if you've been following and you like and subscribing, you've been rocking with me and you've been patient, I truly appreciate you. If you're new here, I truly appreciate you as well. But we're about to get after it. And I'm excited because my mission is to really deliver some content and curriculum that will ultimately transform your life. One, so that way you can live out your purpose with confidence. But two, so that way you can really take this, apply it, and have a sense of self-belief that's like, you know what? Yeah, I got this. I can do this. I really want this to be a transformational experience. So I hope that it is. My mission is to continually get better and better. Obviously, the more episodes that come out, as I dive in, as I teach, as I grow, my mission is to spit it out to you so that way you can grow. And that's why we're here, to get better. So let's really dive into what we're talking about today. If you've listened to a lot of my videos or you've seen anything, I've got this sign behind me if you're watching the video, and it says, "You are the bag." And this is one of my favorite things that is on my heart to tell folks is, you are the bag. But if you don't know what the bag is, then you might be really confused. So when I'm teaching and I'm talking to students, or I'm talking to like faculty and staff and educators and all that, there's a really big difference between like knowing what the bag is. So my job today is to help clarify what is the bag for those who don't know, but then also really give you an understanding of why I say you are the bag and why I believe that you are the bag. Okay, so what is the bag in the first place? When I say the bag, or we say the bag, those who know it's a cultural thing. As a hooper, I'm gonna go get in my bag, which means I'm gonna go get buckets. As somebody who is trying to go get the money, an entrepreneur, I'm gonna go get the bag. I'm going to work. That is the bag. And so we equate bag and money, right? The bag is money. But as I really started thinking about this, I was like, you know what? The bag is not money. The bag is a thing that holds the money. But it's easy for us to just think bag money, right? But when you take a step back and really think, it's, the bag is a thing that holds the money. So for me, I like to think of things like this. If the bag is a thing that holds the money, and money is capital, and that is an asset, I see our purpose as being an asset, therefore a form of capital. I hope that makes sense. So if money is capital, and that is an asset, I see our purpose as an asset, which is capital, which then means that is the thing that's inside our bag, which makes us the bag. I hope that makes sense to y'all. So we're going to journey on this today and really just hone in on this because it's a mindset, it's a mentality, it's a belief. So the research behind all of this from a belief stance, from a personal belief, from a personal efficacy stance is believing and having the mentality that I am the bag, that you are the bag, but also knowing that my purpose is an asset, right? Like that I was born with the purpose, on purpose to live out my purpose, but that purpose is an asset that allows me I get to leverage it, right? Like people want capital and assets to be able to leverage to build the life they want. Your purpose is something that you can leverage in order to build the life that you want, right? So from a research stance, the term personal efficacy and the term or the thought of self-belief, they go hand in hand. If you dive into our last episode 31, I really dive that much more into it, but I'll just bring this back up because it helps us develop again that mindset. So personal efficacy is the belief in myself and my ability to do said things. So I have to believe that I have the giftings, the talents, the ability, the endurance, the resilience to leverage and live out my purpose, right? Like to be able to be the person I believe that I was created to be, to do the things that I was created to do. You have to believe it. So I don't want to hone in too much on that part, but I also want to talk real quick about the thought process between a fixed and a growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you automatically do not see yourself as the bag. But if you have a growth mindset, that you're like, I may not be the bag or fully understand it right now, but I do have the ability to grow into seeing myself as the bag. So that's just another research piece behind the thought process of you are the bag, is like people who are growth minded understand that they're the bag and they have the ability to continue to grow into becoming the bag, and also can help other people see that they are the bag. So that's our entry into setting the mind frame and the research behind what is this. So our quote for today, though, is something I say all the time, and it is, you are worthy of investing in yourself. I'll say it again. You are worthy of investing in yourself. And the reason why I chose this quote alongside the you are the bag is because, again, inside the bag is money. If you think of money, our money is capital and an asset. Anybody in business or understanding any type of money and investments knows when you invest in something, it has the ability to grow, which creates equity and value. So if you see yourself as the bag, and I'm telling you you're worthy of investing in yourself, that means you're worthy of investing in all the things that are inside of you, which is going to increase your equity, which is going to increase your value, which ultimately increases your mindset and how you do what you do. So to help drive my point a little bit more, I want to share a story. So one of my favorite stories goes like this. So there's an investor that goes into a town, right? And he sees 3 random people. And the investor's like, I got some bread. I want to give it out. So I'm going to give it out to these folks and let's see what they do with it. So the first person he goes to, his name is Antonio. He gives Antonio 5 bags. He says, Antonio, do what you got to do. Here's these 5 bags. I'm going to come back and collect. I'll see you in a little bit. He then goes to Anna. He gives Anna 2 bags. He goes, Anna, here's these 2 bags. Do what you got to do. I'm going to come back and collect. I'll see you in a little bit. He then goes off to a cat named John. He gives John 1 bag. He says, John, here's your 1 bag. Do what you got to do. I'm going to come back in a little bit. I'll see you then. So Antonio goes off. Antonio does this thing. He's like, man, I got 5 bags. Looks in them. He's pumped. He goes off, doubles his money. Boom, he's pumped. Anna goes off. She's like, cool, I got 2 bags. I'm gonna make it do what it do. She goes out, doubles her money, got 2 bags, 2 extra bags on top of the 2 she had. John goes, looks at his bag and he's like, I only got 1 bag. So because I know this investor's gonna come back and he gonna want his money back, I gotta figure out either 2 things. How do I double this bag? But if I don't double it, he's gonna be mad at me because I lost his money. So pretty much what John does is he just buries the bag. John is like, I'm cool, I'm gonna bury the bag, so at least when he comes back, I can give him his original bag back, because I don't know how to handle this 1 bag. And why in the world did I only get 1 bag and she got 2 and he got 5, right? So John immediately goes down this trail of thinking he was unworthy, of immediately thinking that his 1 bag wasn't enough, that he couldn't do what he needed to do with just the 1 bag, the same thing that Anna and Antonio could do, right? So the investor comes back. He pulls up on Antonio. He's like, oh, Antonio was good. Antonio's like, look, you gave me 5. I got 10. What's up now? So the investor's like, that's what's up. Because you had 5 and 10, or you had 5 and now you got 10, you doubled it. I'm about to give you some more. Shout out to you. I truly appreciate you. Keep doing your job. A pleasure doing business with you. Then he goes off to Anna. Anna's like, yo, I started with 2. I was able to double that joint. Now I got 4. And he's like, I see you. That's what's up. Thank you for taking care of what I gave you, doubling it. Here's a little bit more. Keep what you got. Then he goes off to John. And John's like, hey, my mans, I already knew that you was a tough dude. And I wasn't trying to not give you anything back. I was afraid of fumbling the bag. So instead of fumbling it and not being able to give you like double or whatever, and I felt like I didn't really have enough in the first place, I just went and buried this joint, and so I'm gonna give it right back to you. The investor looks at John and is like, how is it that you didn't even put this joint in the bank to make 0.01% or maybe even 4% in a CD or whatever the case may have been is, but you decided to put it in the ground to where it didn't even collect no interest at all? And John's like, I just figured I wasn't, one, really worthy of it. I had no help. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to anger you, and I didn't really want to fumble the bag. And the investor's like, bro, you fumbled the bag in the first place by not doing anything with what it was that I gave you. So he ended up taking his bag, saying F it, gave it to somebody else, and called it a day. And John was left bagless. So I tell that story in conjunction with this to say, I don't care if you're a 5-bagger, if you're a 2-bagger, if you're a 1-bagger, every single person has started out with some type of bag. But the thing that we have to recognize is that inside of the bag, again, is different forms of capital, but it's also your purpose, it's also your mission, it's also your vision. But on top of that is also gifts and talents. So just because John received that one bag, he didn't really look in it and investigate and see how could I invest in the things that are in this bag to be able to multiply it. Because if he went out and he was okay, if I just take this one bag and multiply what's in this bag, then I can have 2. Then I'm just like Anna was. And then if I go from 2, now I can go from 2 to 4. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't have the mindset. This is what I need you to catch, is it's all about the mindset. He saw the one bag and automatically thought, okay, I'm not good enough to have more than one bag. Or he saw the one bag and said, I don't even know how to make this joint work, so I'm gonna just forget it. He didn't even think about trying to figure out how to make it work for him and how to invest and grow the bag. So I say all that because, again, it starts with the mindset. I don't care what you've been given or how much you've been given or where you're at in life, you have something that is good enough that can allow you to now go from stage 1 to stage 2. But it starts with investment. If you're not willing to invest in your mindset, invest in your heart, invest in your gifts and talents, it ain't gonna matter what's inside the bag if you're not willing to be curious about it and invest in it. Okay? So the other thing about that, again, and this goes to the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, is a lot of cats might think, well, fixed mindset is I have this one bag and that's it, that's all I got. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I don't know what to do, how to make it happen. A growth mindset looks at it and says, okay, this is what I got. I'm gonna work with what I got. So the question to you is, do you have a fixed or growth mindset when it comes to your situation in life, when it comes to your gifts and talents, when it comes to understanding how you want to live out your life, when it comes to your abilities to be able to be your best self and to make and take action? Do you have a fixed or growth mindset when it comes to it? So I know that was a lot of information. Hopefully you're able to kind of swallow that and maybe run the story back so that way you can really digest the difference between the mentality from the 5-bagger to the 2-bagger to the 1-bagger, from Antonio to Anna to John, and really think about yourself. Like, am I a 5-bagger? Am I a 2-bagger? Am I a 1-bagger? I see myself personally as a 2-bagger. I've been given, I started off with life with 2 bags and I was able to invest in those in a way that turned into many, many more. And my mission in life is to help those who have been given 1 bag or have the mentality of a 1-bagger, to help them invest in themselves so that way they can see that they're worthy of investing in themselves. So hopefully you're understanding and you're catching that full circle moment of how it's important for you to see yourself as the bag, but it's also important for you to invest in yourself as the bag. Because everybody has a bag. And by now, hopefully you're catching on to the fact that your bag is your purpose. Because you were born on purpose with the purpose to live out your purpose, and your purpose is your greatest asset. So your bag itself, right, inside it is your purpose. Inside it is gifts and talents. Not everybody has the same amount of gifts and talents, and that's what the story is about. Not everybody's been given the same amount of resources. We can look across the world and we can see that. But it doesn't mean that the person who has 1 is less than the person who has 5. The difference is the mentality. The difference is, yes, obviously the resources and all those other things, but if you can start to think I'm worthy of investing in myself in a specific way, I can go from 1 to 5. I can go from 2 to 6, from 5 to 10, even if I started off with 1. So the next thing that I kind of want to break down a little bit here is the different contents that are inside the bag. So the first one, like I talked about, is your purpose. Everybody was born with a purpose inside of you. We're going to dive deeper into that. We've talked about it before. We're going to dive deeper into it in the next coming episodes in the future. So I kind of want to move on right now to talk about capital. We've talked about this a little bit, but capital in and of itself, right, is assets, something that you can leverage, right? In the financial capital space, it's cash that you can leverage in order to buy different things. But from the other factor, there's things called human capital. There's psychological capital. There's cultural capital. So the cat, John with one bag, he may not have had financial capital, but he had cultural capital. And I'm trying to keep these episodes to a shorter length, because your girl could talk forever about it, but I want people to be able to fully digest this. So I'm going to skim kind of across these concepts, but I want you to continue to follow along, because we're going to dive into this. And I promise you, these concepts and mindsets will truly transform your life if you allow them. So there's a concept called cultural capital, and it has 6 different aspects to it: aspirational, linguistic, familiar, social, navigational, and resistant. So these are different things that, as Black and brown folks out in this world, you develop different types of capital through the life that you live. So John may not have had a lot of financial capital, but he had cultural capital, but he didn't see it as being as valuable as the same financial capital that maybe Anna and or Antonio had. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense. There's also psychological capital. Psychological capital has different aspects to it. It's got hope, it's got optimism, it's got self-efficacy and resistance. So to me, John had low psychological capital, but while Anna may have had a little bit higher, and while Antonio had that much higher, right? So even though he didn't have high psychological capital, he still had his cultural capital that he could have leveraged to help him develop that psychological capital. And if he would have invested in that, that would have helped him double and triple his bags instead of fumbling the bag. Okay? So those are just a couple different aspects of capital. Again, I don't want to go super deep into them right now, because we will in the future. So you got to make sure you like and subscribe and follow along and all that cool stuff. The second thing that's in your bag that you need to develop and invest in is a mission and a vision. And again, understanding your purpose. I call this the MVP. When you have a clear mission and vision for your life, and this is something you invest in, this becomes a filter. It becomes a filter for why you do what you do and how you do it and what you want to see as a result of your investment. Okay, your mission and your vision, why you do what you do, and what you want to see as a result of your investment into these things. Okay, and this also has to do with your mindset. It takes time to be able to develop these things in a way that's in alignment with who it is that you are and who it is that you want to be and how you want to be used in this world. All right, the next thing is gifts and talents. Everybody has been given gifts and talents. Hear me when I say this. Every single person has been given gifts and talents for them to utilize to live out their purpose and to gain a profit from. Every person has been given gifts and talents for you to be able to live out your purpose, and then for you to be able to impact other people and create a profit from. Now, not everybody's gifts and talents are the same or look the same or at every level, but that's besides the point. This isn't for you to compare, well, I'm not as good as them at that, or I'm not as good as them at that. That's not what this is about. This is about knowing and understanding and believing that you got gifts, that you got talents, that you have things that you've been given in order for you to utilize, in order for you to give back to the world. And the dopest thing about gifts and talents is when you give them out, you get energy back. The dopest thing about having and utilizing your gifts and talents is when you give them out, you get energy back. And this is why you are the bag, because inside your bag are your gifts and talents that you get to also give out to other people. And it gives you back organic energy because you utilized them. So it's an amazing cycle that goes back and forth. All right. The last thing that's inside your bag is your mind, heart, and craft skills. Again, surface overview of what these are. Mind, heart, and craft skills are what some people like to call soft and hard skills. I call them mind, heart, and craft. Because there's nothing soft about soft skills. They're very much hard. In hard skills, it's like, I get it, but it's just not the verbiage I like to use. Our mind skills is a part of our psychological capital. Our mind skills is about how we think. It's about our resistance, our resilience, our growth mindset, all of that. Our heart skills has to do with loving and being patient and being kind, our leadership, our humility. And then our craft skills is about how you do what, are you great at what you do? Do you not suck? Can you get better? Do you grow from a personal development and a professional development stance? Like those things really matter. Like what really requires you to be dope at what you do? So taking your gifts and talents and aligning them in your profession and then getting that much better at them. All of those things are things that are inside your bag. So when I say you are the bag, that's what I mean. You are the person that holds all these different contents, but it's up to you to invest in them for them to be able to flourish and overflow, for them to overflow into other folks' lives, right? So the thing that I want you to hold on to is, if we look at it from a financial capital stance, there's a thought process called compound interest. When you invest in something and then it grows interest, it grows on top of what it was, not just the initial amount, but on top of it. And compound interest is something that changes the game for any kind of investor, but also for you as an individual. So when you invest in you, you're investing in not just what you've done yesterday, but all the times you've done it before. This is why consistency is such a big deal. So when you invest in your purpose, you invest in your mission, your vision, all the gifts that you have, you're doubling and tripling your bag. This is why the 5-bagger went from 5 to 10 to 15. And this is why Anna went from 2 to 4 to 8, right? Because of compound interest. So when you take the time to see that investment increases equity, which increases the value, it changes how you see yourself and how you also see the world around you. So I want you to think about that is, okay, if investment increases equity and equity equals value and increases the value, if I'm investing in me, the value of how I see myself and I see the world around me and other people is going to increase. It's going to increase the asset that I am at the table versus being a liability at certain tables and certain relationships and groups and different things like that. I'm now that much more of an asset. I was an asset, but now I'm that much more because I invested in me in a way that nobody else could. But then the investment you make in yourself is going to increase the investment that other folks want to make in you as well. So that was a lot. I hope that you're really like honing in and diving in and understanding the direction I'm trying to come with this and why I'm so gung-ho on you knowing that you are the bag. The other aspect with this is I really want to drive home that you're worthy of investing in yourself because you are the bag. And when you invest in the bag from a compound interest state, from an equity, from a value stance, and you see yourself as that, it changes the game. It changes your mind. It changes how you move through life, y'all. Okay, so I got 3 things from a skills and drill stance that I want to give to you to help you really drive this home and take on this mentality. All right. Number 1, invest time in exploring who you are and who you want to become. Invest time in exploring who you are and who you want to become. Huge on the investment. Investing is quality and quantity time, giving up effort and energy into who you are and who you want to become, right? And really cultivating that mindset that you are the bag. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to get curious about your mindset and what is supporting or holding you back. You are the bag is a mindset. It's a mentality. It's a belief. So I want you to get curious about what's supporting this or what's holding you back from really believing this. The third thing I want you to do is this. I want you to do a gifts audit. Look at your gifts and talents. Like really get curious about yourself and look at your gifts and talents and ask, am I maximizing and using my gifts in a way that also gives me back energy and gives out glory, right? It gives me energy and it gives out glory in a way that adds value to other folks' lives that also gives me back energy. Or am I not utilizing my gifts and talents in a way that I want to, and they're just kind of sitting dormant, and that sucks. And I also feel a depletion of energy because of that. So that was a lot. I'm excited to be back in this thing. I want to go so much deeper on all these different topics, and we will. So I need you to hold on tight. But hopefully you can run this episode back. If you have any questions, please tap in with me, leave a comment, send me a message, whatever it is. If this is something that you're like, okay, Coach Rees, Dr. Rees, I really want to be able to grow in this and really help shape and mold my mindset to knowing that I'm the bag, all you got to do is reach out. I'm here, whether it's through one-on-one coaching or you want to bring me out to your team or to your staff or whatever, to really understand how do we break this down and know that you are the bag, I'm the bag, and to be able to invest in ourselves in a way that nobody else can, that increases the probability of others doing it, so that way we can really live out our purpose with confidence. I want you to remember that you are worthy of investing in yourselves, that you are the bag, and you are worthy of living out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Dr. Rees. Until next time. Peace.